The girl opened her eyes to the sound of voices. Loud, strange voices. She did not understand the words, but the tone was cruel, mocking, full of laughter. Her body was cold. She looked down at herself and felt shame burn inside her. She had no clothes, only dirt and bruises covered her skin. She tried to remember her name, her past, how she had come here. But her mind was empty. Nothing. Just a black hole where her memories should be. She lifted her head slowly. Around her was a world that did not belong to Earth. Tall towers of black stone stretched into the sky. Strange, glowing signs floated in the air. The ground under her was not sand or stone, but a kind of metal road, shining and cold and around. Her aliens, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Some had thick blue skin and 4 arms. Others looked like insects, their eyes black and empty, their voices clicking like knives. Some were tall and thin, with skin that shined like silver. Others were short and fat, with tentacles instead of legs. They were all walking, trading, shouting, laughing. It was a marketplace, and she was the item for sale. She sat on a raised platform, her arms tied with a rough cord. A creature with green scales held a long stick and shouted in the alien language. He pointed at her, then to the crowd, as if calling. For buyers, the crowd only laughed. "She is too thin," one alien muttered. "Useless, not even strong enough to work," another hissed. "Not worth the food she will eat." A third said with a laugh that echoed like metal breaking. The girl pulled at her bonds, shame and fear mixing in her chest. Tears stung her eyes. She was not even worth buying. She was not even worth owning. The green-scaled seller hit the platform with his stick in anger. "Buy," he shouted in his rough tongue. But no one stepped forward. Some aliens threw scraps of food at her feet, laughing. Others spat on the ground. She curled into herself, trying to hide her body, but there was no escape. The crowd moved on to look at other cages filled with slaves creatures from different worlds. Chained and beaten, she was forgotten, left alone under the cruel red suns that burned above the alien sky. Her throat was dry. Her stomach was empty. Her body trembled, she thought. Maybe this is the end. Maybe I was brought here to die, and then? She saw him at first. She thought her eyes were playing tricks. But no, there, pushing through the alien crowd, was a man. A man with 2 legs, 2 arms, brown skin, dark hair. Not an alien, a Tay. Not a monster, a human. Her breath caught. She stared at him, unable to believe. Could it be real? The aliens noticed him too. Some muttered in surprise, others sneered. Humans were rare here, very rare. The man walked with steady steps, his face calm, but his eyes sharp. He wore simple clothes, but his boots and belt were not alien. She recognized them as human-made. He stopped in front of the platform. His gaze moved over her, but not with the hunger or cruelty of the others. His eyes were steady, unreadable. The green-scaled seller hissed eagerly, sensing a chance. He pointed at her and shouted words in the alien tongue, waving his stick. The man raised a hand. He spoke. His voice was low, firm, and in a language the girl could understand English. "I'll take her." The girl's heart froze. She stared at him. Did she hear right? Did he truly speak her language? The seller hissed again, shaking his head. He held up his claws, demanding more. The man reached into his belt pouch and pulled out a handful of glowing coins, alien money. He tossed them at the seller's feet without a second glance. The seller's eyes gleamed with greed. He picked up the coins quickly and cut the rope around the girl's wrists. She fell forward, too weak to stand. The man stepped forward and caught her before she hit the ground. His arms were strong, steady. He pulled a cloth from his pack and wrapped it around her. Covering her body, The aliens laughed and jeered, some shouting in their strange voices. But the man ignored them. He lifted the girl to her feet. She looked up at him, her lips trembling. "Why? Why are you helping me?" He did not answer. He only held her arm and guided her through the crowd. The aliens parted, some in fear, some in curiosity. No one stopped him. The market noise faded behind them. The girls stumbled as they walked, but the man never let go. His grip was firm, not cruel, but protective. When they turned into a dark alley, far from the market, he finally spoke. His voice was quiet, serious. "You must stay close to me. Do not speak to anyone. Do not look at anyone. If they know what you are, you will not live long." The girl swallowed hard, fear rising inside her again. "What am I?" she whispered. The man stopped walking. He looked at her with eyes that seemed old, tired, but also strong. "You're human," he said. "And that makes you more valuable, more dangerous than anything in this city." The girl felt her heart pound. She did not know her name, her past, or her future. But now, in this alien world, one truth was clear. She was not alone, and for the first time since she opened her eyes, hope flickered inside her. The girl's legs shook as she tried to keep up with the man. The cloth he had wrapped around her clung to her body, giving her at least some dignity, but her mind was still in chaos. Who was he? Why was there another human here, walking so calmly in the middle of an alien city? The alleys were dark, lit only by glowing lines on the walls. Strange smells filled the air, spice, smoke, and something sharp that burned her nose. Alien voices echoed from distant streets, but here it was quieter. Finally, the man stopped. He pulled her into a shadowed corner between two broken machines. With a quick glance around, he crouched in front of her. "You can walk." His voice was low, calm, but his eyes were sharp as a knife. She nodded weakly. "Why? Yes, good," he said. "Then keep close to me. Don't stare at anyone, and don't speak unless I tell you to." Her lips trembled. Who are you?" The man studied her for a long moment as if deciding whether to answer. At last, he spoke. "My name is Aaron," he said. "I'm human, like you." Her heart jumped. She had not heard her own language since waking up in that nightmare. Market. His words felt like lifelines. But another thought filled her with fear. "If you're human, why are you here?" Aaron's jaw tightened. Because I couldn't leave. Not after what happened." The girl's chest tightened. She wanted to ask more, but his eyes warned her not to dot. Aaron stood and pulled something from his bag, a small flask. He handed it to her. "Drink." She obeyed, her hands shaking as cool water touched her lips. It was the sweetest taste she had ever known. Tears rolled down her cheeks. He looked away as if giving her privacy. "You're lucky," he said. "Most humans never make it out of the market. You would have been gone in a day." She froze. "Gone? What do you mean?" Aaron's eyes met hers, cold and steady. "You don't want to know." A silence stretched between them. She shivered, clutching the cloth tighter. The city around them buzzed faintly with alien machines, a constant reminder that they were far from home. Finally, she whispered, "Why me? Why did you save me?" Aaron's face was unreadable, because no one else would. It wasn't the answer she wanted, but it was the only one he gave. He motioned for her to follow, and they moved again. The streets grew narrower, the shadows deeper. Neon signs flickered above, showing alien faces and strange symbols. The girl noticed some creatures staring at them. She lowered her head quickly, afraid of their eyes. After some time, Aaron stopped. In front of a metal door set into the wall of a half-ruined building. He tapped a code into a small panel, and with a hiss, The door opened. Inside was a dim room lit by a single lamp. The air smelled of oil and dust. A table stood in the middle, with scraps of alien metal, half-fixed devices, and strange tools. Against the wall lay a small bed with a thin blanket. "This is where I live," Aaron said simply. The girl stepped inside slowly. Compared to the streets, this place felt quiet, almost safe. Her voice was soft. "You've been here? Alone?" Aaron shut the door behind them. For the first time, his expression softened, just a little. For years, the girl sat on the edge of the bed, still trembling. She pulled the blanket around herself and looked at him. "I don't even remember my name," she whispered. "I don't know who I am." Aaron's eyes darkened, but not with surprise. That's not uncommon. Some lose their memories when they're brought here. Maybe it's the trauma. Maybe something worse. Her heart pounded. Brought here? By who? Aaron hesitated. Then he leaned closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "There are things in this galaxy that hunt humans. To them, we are rare, valuable, and dangerous. You, being human, is the only reason you're still alive." The words chilled her blood. Suddenly, a sound came from outside, the heavy thud of alien boots. Both of them froze. Aaron moved fast. He shut off the lamp, plunging the room into darkness. He pressed a finger to his lips, signaling her to stay silent. The girl held her breath. Outside, voices muttered in an alien tongue. The sound of claws scraped against the door. Her heart beat so loud, she thought the aliens could hear it. After a long minute, the footsteps faded away. The danger passed. Aaron lit the lamp again, his face grim. "They're looking for you," he said. Her stomach twisted. "For me? Why?" He leaned back against the wall, folding his arms. His eyes met hers, cold and serious. "Because humans don't belong here," he said. "And when aliens see one, they will do anything to take it." The girl's hands shook. As she pulled the blanket tighter, she wanted to ask more, but fear sealed her lips. Aaron looked at her for a long moment. Then, almost too softly to hear, he added, "And if they find us, we won't survive." The alien city never slept. From the small cracks in the walls of Aaron's hideout, the girl could see glowing lights pulsing in the night sky. Strange flying machines hummed above the streets, their shadows sweeping over broken towers. The ground trembled now and then as massive creatures walked past, their footsteps echoing through the alleys. Inside the room, Aaron packed a small bag. His movements were fast, practiced, silent. He stuffed inside a few alien coins, some food, and a weapon that looked human-made but patched with alien parts. The girl sat on the edge of the bed, the blanket wrapped around her. Her body was warm now, but her heart was restless. "Where are we going?" she asked. Aaron glanced at her. His dark eyes looked tired but sharp. "Out. We can't stay here. Too many eyes saw me at the market. They'll come." She bit her lip. "But it's dangerous out there." Aaron's jaw tightened. "It's more dangerous here. Move." He opened the door, and a cold wind rushed inside. The girl followed, her bare feet careful on the metal floor. The city stretched before them like a nightmare. Towers of black glass reached into the clouds, their tips flashing with red lights. Bridges connected the buildings high above, carrying streams of alien traffic. Below, the streets were filled with creatures of every shape and size, slimy, armored, glowing, or covered in fur. The girl had never seen such a place. Every step she took made her feel smaller, weaker, like a tiny spark in a storm. Aaron walked with purpose. His head was low, his hands in his pockets, but his steps were confident. The girl stayed close behind him, hiding her face under the cloth. They passed alien shops that sold glowing liquids, cages of live creatures, and weapons that buzzed with strange energy. The smells were overwhelming: spices, smoke, and blood. Whispers followed them. Some aliens stared at her too long, their eyes cold and hungry. Others leaned close to each other, muttering in their harsh tongue. The girl felt panic rise in her chest. She pulled at Aaron's sleeve. "They're looking at me." "Keep walking," he muttered. "Don't break stride. Don't show fear." But she couldn't stop herself. Her eyes met a pair of black, insect-like eyes from across the street. The alien tilted its head, clicking its mandibles. A cruel smile spread across its sharp mouth. The girl quickly looked away, her heart racing. Aaron led her into a crowded square. In the center stood a tall tower made of bone-white stone. At its base, alien guards in black armor patrolled with weapons that glowed red. "Don't look at them," Aaron whispered, but the girl couldn't help it. She caught a glimpse of what the guards were watching, a cage filled with humans. Her breath froze. Inside the cage, men and women sat in silence, their faces pale, their bodies broken. Some had strange collars around their necks that glowed faintly. Others stared with empty eyes, too weak to move. Her knees weakened. She grabbed Aaron's arm. Humans. There were more. Aaron's grip tightened on her wrist, forcing her forward. "Not now. If you stop, they'll notice." Tears burned in her eyes as she turned her face away. She wanted to scream, to run to them, but Aaron's words were clear. If she did, she would join them. They left the square, slipping into another alley. The girl's chest ached with silent sobs. Aaron finally stopped under a broken street lamp. His face was grim. "Now you understand," he said. "This city eats humans alive. That's why you must keep your head down." The girl nodded, wiping her tears. But inside her heart, a spark of anger burned. Before she could speak, Aaron froze. His eyes narrowed. "What is it?" she whispered. He didn't answer. He only motioned for her to stay silent. From the shadows at the end of the alley, 3 alien figures stepped out. Their bodies were tall and armored, their faces hidden under black helmets. Each carried a weapon that glowed like fire. Aaron cursed under his breath. "Guards." The girl's blood turned to ice. One of the guards raised a hand and pointed directly at them. Aaron grabbed her arm. "Run!" They burst into the street, pushing through the alien crowd. Voices rose behind them, shouting in the alien tongue. The guards gave chase, their heavy boots striking the ground. The girl stumbled, but Aaron pulled her along. They raced past glowing shops, dodged carts pulled by strange beasts, and darted between towering machines. Her lungs burned. Her legs ached. She could hear the guards getting closer. Aaron turned sharply into another alley. The girl followed, her heart slamming in her chest. Ahead was a broken ship, half buried in rubble. Its hull was cracked, its lights dead, but it offered cover. Inside, Aaron ordered. They slipped through a jagged hole in the ship's side. The air inside was stale, filled with dust and rust. Shadows stretched across the walls. The girl pressed against the cold metal, gasping for air. What do we do now?" Aaron pulled out his weapon. It hummed softly with blue light. His face was hard, his voice calm. "We wait," he said. "And if they find us?" He glanced at her, his eyes full of unspoken meaning. "We fight." Outside, the sound of alien boots grew louder. The girl's hands shook. She did not know her past. She did not know her name. But in that moment, one truth was clear. Her survival was now tied to his. The ship trembled as shadows fell across the broken hull. The guards had found them, and the hunt was only beginning. The silence inside the broken ship was heavy, broken only by the sound of the girl's quick breathing. Her back pressed against the cold wall, her hands clutching the thin cloth around her body. Outside, heavy footsteps thudded closer. Alien voices barked commands, rough and sharp. The sound of claws scraping against metal made her skin crawl. Aaron crouched near the jagged opening of the ship, his weapon ready in his hands. The faint blue glow from it lit his face, showing eyes that were calm but alert. Like a soldier before battle, he raised one finger to his lips, warning her not to make a sound. The girl bit her lip, holding her breath. Her heart was pounding so loudly she feared the guards would hear it. The shadows of the alien soldiers stretched across the broken hull. Their weapons glowed red as they scanned the wreck. One guard stopped, his head tilting. He let out a guttural hiss and stepped closer to the ship. Aaron tensed. His grip on the weapon tightened. The girl's stomach knotted. She whispered, barely a breath, "We can't fight them." Aaron's eyes flicked to her, cold and steady. "We can't let them take us either." The guard raised his weapon, the red glow spilling through the crack in the wall. Another voice shouted, calling him back. After a moment, the guard lowered his weapon and stepped away. The footsteps faded slowly. The girl almost collapsed with relief, but Aaron didn't relax. He waited, counting each second in silence. Finally, he stood. "They're not gone. Just searching wider. We move now." He led her deeper into the ship's wreck. The air was thick with dust and the faint smell of burnt metal. Strange alien symbols covered the walls, scratched and faded. The girl stumbled over broken panels and twisted wires. "Where are we going?" she whispered. Aaron scanned the dark corridors, his eyes sharp. "This ship used to belong to humans. My crew found it years ago. I know the way out." She froze. "Your crew?" His face darkened. "Gone now." He didn't say more. They reached a chamber where broken seats lined the walls. The girl brushed her fingers over one of them. Something about it felt familiar. But before she could think, Aaron grabbed her hand. "Not now. Come." They crawled through a narrow passage, climbing over rubble until they reached a half-open hatch. Aaron pushed it aside, revealing another street outside, this one darker, emptier, far from the market. "Go," he whispered. The girl hesitated. "What if the guards go?" His voice was sharp, leaving no room for questions. She slipped out, and the cold night air hit her skin. Aaron followed, scanning the shadows. They moved quickly, darting between broken walls and empty alleys. But it wasn't long before the sound of boots returned. The guards had split into groups, hunting. Red searchlights swept across the streets. Aaron pulled her into the ruins of a collapsed tower. They crouched low, listening as voices echoed closer. The girl's chest tightened. She whispered, "We can't keep running forever." Aaron's jaw clenched. "Then we stop running." He opened his bag and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. He unrolled it, revealing a small metal device with a cracked screen. The girl frowned. "What is that?" "A communicator," he said. "Human tech. Old, broken, but still useful." He pressed a few buttons, and the screen flickered with blue static. Strange signals hummed in the air. The girl leaned closer. "Are you calling for help?" Aaron shook his head. "No signal strong enough to reach Earth, but maybe strong enough to trick them." He placed the device on the ground, letting it hum louder. Then he stood, weapon ready. The girl's eyes widened. "You're using it as bait." Aaron gave her a small, grim smile. "You're learning." Moments later, the sound of guards filled the alley. Their searchlights swept across the ruins. One of them spotted the blue glow of the communicator and shouted. They rushed toward it. Aaron waited until they were close, then fired. His weapon roared with blue light, striking the first guard in the chest. The alien screamed and fell. The girl gasped. She had never seen such violence, such raw skill. The other guards shouted and returned fire. Red beams scorched the walls. Aaron moved fast, dodging, firing again. His aim was deadly, precise, like he had done this 100 times before. "Stay down," he barked. The girl ducked behind rubble, covering her ears as the fight echoed through the night. Sparks and smoke filled the air. Finally, silence. She lifted her head. The night was alive with alarms. Red lights flashed across the towers, and strange sirens wailed like dying animals. The alien city had woken, and it was hunting. Aaron pulled the girl through one alley after another, never stopping, never looking back. His hand was strong around her wrist, but his pace was merciless. Her lungs burned, her legs screamed with pain, but she forced herself forward. Finally, he dragged her into a half-collapsed tunnel. The sirens were muffled here, the walls damp with dripping water. Aaron leaned against the wall, his chest heaving. The girl collapsed beside him, gasping. We can't keep running." Aaron didn't answer at first. His face was hidden in shadow, his breath steadying. Then, slowly, he pulled his bag open and took out the broken communicator. The screen flickered with faint blue light. The girl stared at it, confused. "That thing again?" Aaron nodded. "It's not just a communicator. It's a piece of Earth. A piece of what we lost." She blinked at him. "You mean you can call home?" His lips tightened. "No, not anymore. The signal is too weak, but it carries something else." He turned the screen toward her. Lines of text appeared in a language she didn't understand, strange codes, symbols, and numbers. "What is it?" she whispered. Aaron's voice dropped low, almost reverent. "Memories. Records of my crew. Messages we left for each other. Plans, locations, secrets." The girl's chest tightened. "Your crew? What happened to them?" For a long moment, Aaron said nothing. His eyes stayed on the flickering screen. Finally, he whispered, "They're gone. All of them. Some were taken, some killed, some worse. I'm the only one left." The girl felt a heavy silence fill the tunnel. She wanted to comfort him, but she didn't know how. She didn't even know her own name. Aaron looked at her then, his eyes sharp. "You asked me before why I saved you. The truth is, I don't know if I should have. You're a risk. A human walking in this city is a death sentence." Her throat tightened. "Then why?" His face softened just a little. "Because when I saw you, I remembered what it meant to be human, and I couldn't let them break you the way they broke the others." The girl's eyes burned with tears. She lowered her head, whispering, "I don't even remember who I am. How can I be worth saving?" Aaron reached into his bag again and pulled out something else, a small silver pendant. He placed it in her hands. It was old, scratched, but unmistakably human. A tiny star symbol was etched into its surface. The girl's breath caught. Something deep inside her stirred. A flash so fast, so faint of hands placing the pendant around her neck. A voice saying her name. Her lips trembled. I think. I knew this." Aaron watched her carefully, then hold on to it. "It might help you remember." Before she could answer, a noise echoed through the tunnel, metallic footsteps. Slow and deliberate. Aaron cursed under his breath. "They're sweeping this sector." He shoved the communicator back into his bag and pulled her to her feet. "We need to keep moving." The tunnel twisted into deeper darkness. They moved quickly, their footsteps splashing in shallow water. After some distance, they reached an old chamber where the walls were covered with strange alien machines. Wires hung like vines, and glowing crystals pulsed faintly. Aaron set down his bag and lit a small human lamp. The soft white light cut through the gloom. The girl looked around, wide-eyed. "What is this place?" Aaron's voice was grim. An old shipyard. My crew used it once to hide. He walked to one of the machines, brushing dust off its surface. This is where I kept the last secret. Her stomach nodded. What secret? Aaron turned to her, his expression serious. The truth about why humans are hunted. The girl's body went cold. She stepped closer. Why? Aaron hesitated, as if the words themselves were dangerous. Finally, he said, because we don't belong here, and yet, we're stronger than they want us to be. Every alien knows it. Some fear us, others want to use us. But all of them agree on one thing: humans cannot be free. The girl's chest tightened, stronger. I don't feel strong. Aaron gave her a long, steady look. You don't know it yet, but you are. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. I'm nothing. I can't even remember my name. Aaron stepped closer, his voice firm. Then we'll find it, piece by piece. And when we do, maybe you'll remember why you were brought here in the first place. Before she could respond, the machines around them flickered to life. A red glow spread across the walls. Sirens wailed. Aaron's face darkened. They've tracked us. The girl's blood turned to ice. What do we do? Aaron grabbed his weapon, his voice steady. We fight if we must, but first, we run. He shoved the lamp into her hands. Stay close. Don't stop. Together, they plunged deeper into the ruins as the alien city screamed above them, and in her hand, the pendant grew warm as if it remembered something she could not. The ruins trembled. Red lights flashed across the old shipyard walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. From the tunnels outside came the heavy stomp of armored boots. The alien guards were closing in. Aaron stood with his back straight, his weapon glowing in his hands. His jaw was tight, his eyes sharp, but there was no fear in him. He had fought too many times to waste fear now. The girl clutched the small lamp against her chest. Her body shook, but her mind burned with one thought. They are coming for me. Aaron glanced at her. Stay behind cover. Don't move unless I tell you. She swallowed hard. And you? He gave a grim smile. I fight. Before she could speak again, the sound of claws scraped against the walls. Then the first alien guard burst through the tunnel. He was tall, armored in black plates, his eyes glowing red under a metal mask. His weapon hummed with deadly light. Aaron fired first. His blue bolt struck the guard's chest, sending the alien crashing into the wall. Sparks rained from his armor as his body collapsed, but more came. 3 guards stormed in, their red beams scorching the air. Aaron dove behind a metal panel, firing in quick bursts. His shots were precise. Controlled every movement, practiced like a soldier who had trained for war. The girl pressed herself against the wall. Her breath caught in her throat. The air shook with the roar of weapons. One alien's beam struck, near her head, melting the wall. She screamed and ducked. Aaron shouted, "Stay low." He rolled from cover, blasting another guard in the leg. The alien shrieked, falling to the ground. But 2 more closed in. The girl's eyes darted to the ground where a broken metal rod lay. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. She was weak, terrified, but something inside her whispered, "Don't let him fight alone." When one of the guards raised his weapon at Aaron, she leaped forward with a cry. The rod slammed against the alien's arm, knocking his shot wide. The alien roared, turning toward her. His claws reached for her throat, but Aaron was faster. His shot pierced the alien's chest, dropping him instantly. He grabbed her wrist. Dragging her back, his voice was sharp with anger. "I told you to stay down." Tears filled her eyes. "I couldn't. I had to help." Aaron stared at her, his mouth opening to argue. Then he saw something in her face. Determination. Fire. The last guard charged, swinging a glowing blade. Aaron pushed the girl behind him and blocked the strike with his weapon, the impact rattling his arms. The fight turned brutal beam against blade, sparks flying as they clashed. The guard was strong, his strikes heavy. But Aaron was faster. Every move sharp and trained. Finally, with a fierce cry, Aaron thrust his weapon into the guard's chest. The alien froze, then collapsed in silence. The room went still. Smoke curled in the air. The girl's ears rang from the noise. Aaron stood panting, sweat running down his face. His hands shook slightly as he lowered his weapon. The girl stared at him, awe and fear mixing in her chest. You fought like 10 men. Aaron wiped his brow. His voice was low, heavy. I fought like the last one left. She stepped closer, her hands trembling. You've been fighting alone all this time. His eyes met hers, tired but unbroken. That's what it means to survive here. Silence filled the ruins, broken only by the drip of water. The girl's heart pounded. She looked at the broken rod in her hand, then at Aaron. I want to fight too. Aaron's brow furrowed. You're not ready. She lifted the pendant around her neck, holding it tight. Maybe I don't remember my past. Maybe I don't even remember my name. But I know one thing: die won't just hide. Not anymore. Aaron stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, a faint smile tugged at his lips. Maybe you are stronger than you think. Before he could say more, a low rumble shook the ground. The walls vibrated, dust falling from the ceiling. The girl's eyes widened. What is that? Aaron's face darkened. Reinforcements. More are coming. He slung his weapon over his shoulder and grabbed his bag. We can't stay. If they send a whole unit, this place will be our grave. The girl's hands tightened. Around the pendant, her voice was quiet but firm. Then where do we go? Aaron hesitated. His jaw tightened, as if the answer itself was dangerous. Finally, he said, there's someone we need to find. Another human. Her breath caught. Another? There's more of us. Aaron's eyes were grim. Yes, but he's not a friend. He's the reason this city has slaves. The reason I lost my crew. The girl's blood ran cold. You mean a traitor? Aaron nodded. A human who chose power over his own kind. The girl's heart pounded. She had thought being hunted by aliens was the worst nightmare, but the thought of a human betraying humans, it was worse. Aaron's gaze hardened. If we want to survive, we'll have to face him. The girl clutched her pendant tighter. The tunnels stretched endlessly into darkness. Aaron and the girl moved quickly, their footsteps echoing against the damp stone. Behind them, the sounds of the alien city roared: sirens, shouts, and the pounding of boots. But the deeper they went, the quieter it became, until only the drip of water filled the silence. The girl clutched the pendant at her neck. Its small star symbol glimmered faintly in the dark, warming her hand. She didn't know why, but it gave her strength. Finally, Aaron stopped before a heavy metal door half buried in rubble. Strange alien symbols glowed faintly on its surface. This is it, he said quietly. The girl frowned. What is this place? Aaron's face was grim. A stronghold. The human's base. Her heart raced. The traitor. Aaron nodded. His voice dropped low. His name is Marcus Vale. Once he was my captain. Now he rules this sector of the city. He made a deal with the aliens' humans for power. The girl's blood ran cold. A human selling humans. Aaron's jaw tightened. Yes, he gives them what they want, and in return, they let him live like a king. He turned our people into slaves. The girl shook her head in disbelief. How could he? Aaron's eyes darkened, 'cause he forgot what it means to be human. With a deep breath, Aaron pushed against the door. It creaked open, revealing a long chamber lit by pale blue lights. The air was cold, heavy with the smell of metal and oil. They stepped inside. At the far end of the chamber stood a throne of twisted steel and bone. And on it sat a man. He was human. His face was hard, his hair streaked with gray, but his eyes were sharp and alive. He wore alien armor, polished like glass, and on his finger glowed a ring of strange red light. Marcus Vale. The girl's stomach twisted. Something about him felt wrong. His smile was too calm to knowing. "Well, well," Marcus said, his voice smooth. "Aaron, my lost soldier. I wondered when you'd crawl back." Aaron's weapon was already raised. His voice was sharp. "You sold them. You sold us all." Marcus laughed softly, leaning back in his throne. "I gave us survival. The aliens. Respect, power. And with me, humans have a place in this world. A place in cages." Aaron snarled. Marcus's eyes flicked to the girl. His smile widened. "And who is this? Another stray?" No, not just any stray." The girl's blood chilled. His gaze felt like it pierced through her skin. Marcus stood slowly, stepping closer. "Yes, I know you. I've been waiting for you." The girl stumbled back. You know me?" Marcus nodded, his eyes gleaming. "Of course, you were part of the program, one of the chosen. But they took your memory, didn't they? Clever. Very clever." Her hands shook. "Program. Chosen. What are you talking about?" Aaron's face tightened. "Don't listen to him." But Marcus ignored him. His voice was low, smooth, hypnotic. "You feel it, don't you? The strength inside you. The fire, that pendant you hold, wasn't just a gift. It was a key." The girl looked down at the pendant, its star symbol glowing brighter than before. Her heart pounded. Marcus stepped closer, his voice rising. "You were made for more than this. Not weak, not lost. You are the future of our kind. With me, you'll remember who you are. With me, you'll rule." Aaron moved between them, his weapon pointed at Marcus's chest. His voice was steel. "She's not yours. Not ever." Marcus's smile vanished. His eyes hardened. "Careful, soldier. You've already lost everything once. Don't make the same mistake again." The air grew heavy. The girl's head spun with Marcus's words. A program? Chosen? A key? None of it made sense, but deep inside, something stirred like a locked door in her mind was trying to open. Aaron spoke without turning his head. "Listen to me. He's lying. He always lies." Marcus's voice thundered through the chamber. "No, girl. I speak the truth. You can feel it, can't you? You don't belong at his side, hiding and running like prey. You belong here. With me, strong, untouchable." The pendant in her hand burned hot, pulsing like a heartbeat. Her vision blurred for a moment, and in that blur she saw Flash's soldiers in human armor. Stars shining above, her own hands glowing with light. She gasped, stumbling back. Aaron caught her arm. "Stay with me. Don't let him inside your head." Marcus raised his hand, and the red ring glowed brighter. The walls trembled, the machines around them sparking with energy. "Choose," he commanded. "Follow me, and you'll remember everything. Stay with him, and you'll die forgotten." The girl's chest heaved. Aaron's steady grip held her, but Marcus's words pulled at her heart. Two paths stretched before her: safety with Aaron, or answers with Marcus. Her pendant glowed so brightly it lit the whole chamber. The walls shook. The air vibrated. Aaron shouted over the roar. "Don't listen to him. You're stronger than he knows." Marcus's voice boomed. You are mine. The girl raised her pendant high. Light exploded from it, blinding the room, and then darkness. When the light faded, the throne room was silent. Marcus stood frozen, his smile gone. His eyes locked on the girl as if he had just seen something impossible. Aaron shielded her, his weapon ready. What did you do? He whispered. The girl stared at the glowing pendant in her hand. Her voice trembled, but it carried power. I remembered.